Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This video will be entitled communication. Okay? It's very important when you communicate to communicate clearly and concisely, especially when you talk to people who have a lot of things to do and who don't have a lot of time. When I ran businesses in the past, I ran several businesses, and also I used to have to listen to people's problems quite often, and sometimes they gossip, unfortunately, because people tended to use me as a soundboard for their things. When I ran an internet cafe in my local area, I was kind of somewhat like the mayor of the area, in a sense that everyone used to come and talk to me about things. And because I sometimes used to talk at the local mosque, people treated me as like their local priest, in other words. So when they have marriage problems, they would come talk to me. When they want to, get relationship advice, or when they have all kinds of problems, debt problems, whatever, For some reason, in small communities, people view the local imam type figure as being capable of somehow solving, you know, random problems, which of course is not true. But anyway, despite that, I do have a lot of experience of having to listen to people constantly. Okay, even now, I'm constantly having to listen to people, their stories, their problems, their etc. As a result, I have, you know, some ideas on what good communication is like. I also studied communication science. And I want to just give you like a tip or two on communicating, okay, in interactions, personal interactions. Obviously, as you can see, because actually all of my videos are impromptu, and I just think about a topic and go ahead and talk about it. There's no script in front of me, it's never scripted. So probably I may not come across as the best person to talk about communication, because I guess some of my videos just seem disorganized and scattered, right? I don't care really, because I'm not trying to become famous. I'm just sharing, with you. Even if it's one or two people who see my videos, that's fine. But when it comes to communication, one of the serious problems I experience with people, especially when they have problems, is that they want to tell me the story of how the problem originated from the beginning. And I'm like, bloody hell, You're going to tell me a story that's going to take up an hour of my time to get to a problem that you could have described to me in 5 minutes. But you're going to take an hour, because you're going to start from the beginning, from before the problem happened, from how you met the person, from how you interact with the person, to how a week before the thing happened, and then you're going to eventually get to what happened, and then you're going to tell me, so the problem is. And I'm going to sit there, and I'm going to be like, yeah, uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. And then you're going to get to the problem. And so just because I may try to be polite, and I may realize that you probably just needed to talk, and the talking itself, just sharing the problem, makes you, feel better, especially if it's a woman, right? Sometimes a woman she doesn't really want the problem to be solved. She just wants to vent. And Yeah, generally, I mean, when it comes to my wives, yeah, I will let them vent because it's my wives, right? I kind of like who they gonna do it with. But outside of that, probably no. I don't have time for you because, not to vent anyway. I have time to help you solve a problem, but I don't have time for you to vent. So when it comes to communication, guys, first thing, don't start from the beginning. Okay, if you have a problem and you want it to be solved, go directly to the problem and say what the problem is. And especially if you're going to a person you think can solve the problem, you state the problem. Let that person ask you questions to fill in the blanks if it needs to be filled in, okay? Because sometimes it doesn't. So realize that, okay? Especially if you're going to a person who is in management, in authority, and can and has the necessary tools to solve your problem, sometimes quite easily, with one phone call, it really is, that person really does not have time to listen to a long story. Okay, like I don't have time to listen to long stories, normally. Okay, uh, now that I'm away from home, yes I do, but normally when I'm at home I don't. Okay, because I have too many things going on. That's the first thing. Okay, step number two, before you actually go and discuss your problem and try to get help, okay, sort out in your mind what would be the quickest way to describe your problem, the quickest and most direct and clear way to describe your problem. Okay? So you sort out in your mind, take a piece of paper out, write some things down, uh, and then isolate what the main issue is. Okay, what is the source of the problem? And if you do that, there's a good chance you won't have to go speak to anybody about your problem or solving your problem, because you maybe would have solved it yourself just by trying to isolate what the underlying issue is. Okay? So, in other words, find what the root cause of the issue is, and then go look for help, if you still need it, that is, and communicate only that thing. Okay? Once you have communicated that thing, again, allow the other person who is the professional to ask you the necessary questions around that thing that person might need in order to work with you on that issue that you need help with. Okay, don't assume what the person may need to know. Okay, because you don't know. You are not that person. And if you didn't need that person, so then why go to that person if you knew everything already? Okay, so don't make the assumptions that the person needs this, and that. You can make those assumptions, okay? I'm not saying don't make those assumptions, just don't state it. So if you organize your ideas out on a page, and you write it down, you can more or less figure out what that person would need to know in order to solve that problem. But keep that to yourself, okay? Let that person probe you for that information. And if you keep it to yourself, while you'll have it ready, you'll know how to respond, because you already figured out those are the kinds of questions, more or less, that you maybe get from the person. Okay. Then the other thing about communication is that, so first, don't make any assumptions on what the person may need to know. Okay. Let the person probe. Okay. I mean, that's second. The first one is, don't give them the whole story. Only tell people what they need to know. When you go to the bank, you don't say, oh, let's say you have a problem at the bank, okay? You don't say, you know what, last week I did this and this, but then someone else told me this and that and that. And then that person told me this and that was wrong. And then I went to the wrong place to do it. And then it didn't work out. And then I had to come back here. And then I came back here and I spoke to so and so. And now I went there. And then I went there. And now I'm in front of you. Can you please help me with XYZ? No. Forget about it. The past is the past. Okay? You're dealing with a new person. Okay? This person doesn't need to know about all the things you've been through to try to solve the problem, because that's irrelevant. Okay? When people are dealing with hundreds, when you in customer services, or you're working in a bank, or you're a consultant, you're dealing with hundreds of people. Okay? Think and know that that person doesn't care, okay, what happens in your personal life. That person doesn't care how many times you've been to the bank. That person doesn't care about any of that. All that person wants to know is, how can I help you now? In other words, I want to do my job. My job is to help you with X, Y, and Z. These are the list of things that I deal with normally. Okay, I just want to know, what is your problem? I'm going to consult the list of things I deal with normally, the parameters of what my job entails, and then I want to help you. I'm going to help you with that. That's my job. Okay? I really don't care who you are. I don't care what you had for breakfast. I don't care how many times you needed to go to different banks to try to solve this problem, you know? And sure, because it's also in your job, of course, obviously, to be polite and to oblige, etc. I'm gonna oblige, but probably you're not going to get helped as well by me as you could have if you just came and told me what the problem is. You see how that works? Okay? I would like to call that professionalism in communication. Okay? You go and you tell people. Okay. Now let's move on from that. Okay? I don't want to rub in the point because I get annoyed with people like that. So let's move on from there. Okay? Let's say you want to do something. Okay? In the bank or with the government or with whichever bureaucratic kind of establishment you go to, or where they have lots of procedures and policies, etc. Okay? And the process you want to complete is a process you've done many times before. Okay? This is a typical scenario. So you get a guy coming into the bank or into a government office, and he has done this procedure many times before. Okay? So let's say he wants to file maybe his taxes. Okay, he goes to the tax office, he wants to file his taxes. Now, obviously, he's filed taxes many times before. So now he goes there and he's like, okay, look, yeah, these are the papers, this is what you need. You need to do this, 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 and that. He's telling the tax clerk, okay, the person who works there, that, okay. Do you think that's a good communication strategy? Do you think you're going to get helped properly? You're going to get helped well by this person? No, you're not. Why? Because nobody likes you to tell them how to do their job. Okay? So even if you've done something a lot of times, and now you come into the tax office and this is a new person sitting there you haven't dealt with before. If it's someone you've dealt with before, it's fine, it's chilled, right? Just give them the stuff, you don't have to say anything. But now this is a person you haven't dealt with before, and now you're saying, look, you need to do X, Y, Z, these are the documents, etc. Right? That person is gonna give you a hard time, likely. Okay, people have egos. Okay, you are telling him how to do his job. It's not your job, it's his job. Okay, so what you do instead is you go in, new guy, sure, you've done it many times before, and you say, you know what, sir? You go there, you say, excuse me, sir, can you tell me how I go about filing these tax documents? He'll be like, sure. First, you need to do this, that. Now you know all that already, okay? And you're like, thank you very much. And you look through your documents and you're like, yes, I have the correct documents here. Here they are. And, you know, thank you very much, you know. I'm so glad you are here to help me. Guess what? Person feels good. Person gonna help you. You're gonna get shit done. He's not gonna give you a hard time. Did you know everything he told you? Yes, you did. But he told you anyway because you know what? His job is to help you, and you have approached him from the angle of needing help. And he's gonna help you because that's his job. Right? Humility. Okay? Considering the person's fragile ego in the process of communicating. Okay, I've seen a lot of people, I've literally dealt with a lot of people who communicate with staff members from banks to insurance companies to airlines to whatever, right? And come back to me and say, look, I was not able to do it. They refused to help me. And then I would say, okay, give me the number. Okay, I give them a call. I talk to them real nice. Now, nice doesn't mean being a pushover, okay? People know when they're talking to someone who knows what they're doing and who is in a position of authority. They know because people who are in positions of authority communicate in clear and concise ways. But you can't be nice about it, okay? So I would call and I would speak to them real nice, real clear, and say, look, I need your help with this thing. That's it. That's all I say. I need your help with this thing. Can you help me? What do you think the inclination of that person is who has that particular job? And you know they can help you. Are they going to tell you no? They're not going to tell you no. They're going to tell you, yes, I can. And the minute they told you, yes, I can, they've made a commitment to you. Okay? Now, perhaps there's a few snags in the thing, okay? There's some red tape. There's some shit you can't get through, okay? But you presented a problem in a simple way, okay? You asked the question, can you help me? The person said, yes, I can. That person is going to pull whatever strings they can to get that shit done for you. Because they told you, yes, I can. It's on record. Okay? It's on record now. If the person turns out to be of low character and they don't honor their word or they don't have a sense of pride in their job that they're doing, which can happen after they tell you, yes, I can help you, and then they would be like, actually, you know what, they realize that it's a little bit complicated and they decide they're gonna back out. Then you say, okay, the reference for this call is, okay, what is your name? Okay, right. You say, thank you very much. That's it. Okay, you call again. You say, can I speak to the manager? Right? You say, this is the reference number of the call. You can listen to the call. Okay, this person guaranteed me that they can help me with this particular problem. Okay, and then they were not able to do so. I think your staff, okay, that you have hired are incompetent. Right, that puts the manager on the spot, right? The manager will see to it that it gets done. That's how you do it, okay? People don't want to hear long stories. There's no point in wasting your time when people don't know what they are doing, and there's no point in undermining people in their jobs, The point is, and this is what finally I want to say, okay? When you communicate for a reason. Keep that reason in mind. Don't get sidetracked by your ego. Don't get sidetracked by people's egos and how they engage with you and whether they offend you, and none of that matters. What matters is the reason why you're communicating. You want to achieve something. Only focus on that. Focus on what you want to achieve, why you are communicating with a person. Okay? Forget about everything else. What happens too often is that people get lost in their social needs, their emotional needs, their egotistical needs, in the process of communicating. Okay? Lose sight of the reason why they are there to begin with, why they are communicating, why they've engaged in that communication. And then the whole thing just becomes a matter of wills, a clash of wills and egos and emotions and all of that. Look, I mean, women usually always get into fights with each other like that, but I mean, we're not women, so consider that. Thank you very much.